What's up, everybody? Troy Cartwright here. It was so great to see so many of you guys out on the road this weekend on my tour. I was really shocked by how many people were at the show who had heard about it through this podcast, actually. So that was really special. We've got 5 dates left on that. You can buy tickets at troycartwright.com. And we are still doing the 10-Year Town meetup later this year. So if you want to be on the list for that, make sure you sign up at 10yeartown.com. Thanks. This week on 10-Year Town, buckle up. One of the most unconventional episodes that we've ever had. This week's guest is Grammy winner Aaron Raitiere. Aaron is such a funny and interesting person, and this one does not follow our normal format. It goes off the rails pretty much immediately. But I think this will give you a taste of some of the amazing, funny, hilarious, creative people we get to work with here in Nashville. So without further ado, Aaron Raitiere. Are you wearing a suit right now?
I thought, dress for the job you want.
What job do you want?
I'm going to be a corporate monster.
Okay. Hell yeah.
I think I'm going to go.
Hey, if you want to put the cans on. No, you don't have to hide it, but the cans, otherwise we'll we'll talk over each other. I don't understand the science.
Yeah, I got to try to not say and.
Nah, you'll be fine.
I've been doing my own podcast.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Business songwriting. Yeah, and I talk the whole time, and I say I say like.
If you listen to yourself talk enough, you actually start. I self-edit now.
Yeah. I try to say don't say like as much, and you're pronouncing shit a little better.
Yep.
Stuff.
It's like shit? If you listen to all the bad songs you write. Okay. You just kind of get better.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking water.
Is there a water?
There's a water fountain.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Thanks, Andrew. Oh yeah. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Can you hear yourself all right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So you want to become a corporate monster? Mm-hmm. What are we thinking? Like M&A?
I don't know.
You want to be like the fish that ate the whale, reverse Viking?
I did this thing the other day with a bunch of corporate monsters, and I did really well.
You want to unpack that for me a little bit, or?
They were good at their jobs, and it was just a real
Were you
like a team building exercise kind of thing,
Yeah.
But that stuff can get pretty crazy, and I got the word foodie into a song. Had to call Ben Burgess to see what rhymed with foodie before I went in there, because I was like, it ain't duty and it ain't booby and it ain't nudie.
He's a man who would know.
Groupie.
Little slant.
And loosely.
Loosely's a good one too.
Yeah.
Dang, that's pretty good.
I know my tie doesn't match. That's all right.
No, that's
It's going to be funnier than hell. It's at Reservoir.
So you're just going to be in the signing photo?
Yeah, I forgot I have a big mascot monkey head I was going to wear when I walked up. I forgot it.
That's
because
awesome.
I got this new it's called Rangatang.
Okay.
And it's just a new artist.
Is it a song? Oh, okay, new artist.
It's me with a monkey with a mascot head on.
I'm
just gonna sing offensive shit with a whole bunch of 808s. And it's just not gonna make any sense at all. I've just been putting out a bunch of terrible music because I'm flat out bored and I don't own any of the tracks. So these tracks I own. So my most recent single is Coffee Cups on Top of a Dryer.
I listened to it.
The whole thing?
5.5 minutes. It's a banger. And I noticed
it's kind of got a zen thing to
I was doing some research, for the pod today. No play count on Spotify.
Awesome.
So I wonder if they're I think it's probably so successful that they're afraid of you.
They're just editing it out.
Yeah.
It's that cancel culture.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I had to argue for a while to put that song out, because initially it was 20 seconds.
Who'd you have to argue with?
TuneCore.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just a machine you're talking to there.
But, yep. Yeah.
But I went for it. I was like, hey, CD Baby, whatever, Distro Kid. I don't know any of them, but I just hit the button and uploaded it. Drew a little picture.
And it got through?
I mean, yeah, it resonated more than a lot of the important stuff. You put something up that you care about, nobody cares, and you put up Old Town Road and you conquer the world.
I know. It's a little catch-22. It's just one of those things, man.
You just can't beat them, you join them kind of thing.
That's right. So you put up 5.5 minute recording
of coffee cups on top of a dryer.
Yeah.
And then, I listen to, there's a bunch of awful music out there,
Yeah,
so I think with AI and all that right now, there's going to be a real comeback for the human element. So I'm just recording a bunch of flat singing and feedback and just humming and phasing microphones and like everything that you could fix digitally.
And then just not.
No, I didn't master or mix that song either. I just bounced it down to an MP3. I didn't even make a wave. That's why it sounds like. And I just uploaded it.
That's awesome.
Because I just figure, who really cares anyway? We're a bunch of ants on a big old rock, and it really doesn't matter. I think I call it my theory about it. Since you asked, I'll just go ahead and tell you.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtle water balloon theory.
Okay.
You familiar with The Secret of the Ooze?
No.
So it's Ninja Turtles 2, the movie Secret of the Ooze. And it's kind of how the Ninja Turtles started, but they were thrown out. They were pets, and then they went down in the sewer, and there was this radioactive ooze, and they got tangled up in it, and then morphed into these giant turtles. And there was also Splinter, their master, and he was the rat, and he got in the ooze too. And then he used to belong to it like a ninja, so he learned all the ninja stuff, and then he taught it to the turtles. Anyway, I think people are a lot like Ninja Turtles in a sense that somewhere along the way there was some ooze, and then we just swelled up into these big-ass water balloons, and we're just walking around trying to be careless and carefree and shit, but just waiting on somebody to just pop us. You know what I mean? Any minute you could just pop. Like, you're just like a water balloon. And people actually get stabbed all the time. That's one way to look at it. But I'm also thinking, like, human life is as fragile as an egg. Like, it's like we're like these like, we're a bunch of Ninja Turtle water balloons just walking around, just bumping into shit, just fighting for our lives, Eating pizza.
Yeah.
So how's your day?
Man, it's pretty good.
It's a lot. I wake up every day and I'm like, do I eat cereal or do I worry about this?
Yeah. No,
I've been leaning towards
true.
cereal lately.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
Yeah, we used to.
What is this podcast about anyway?
This is perfect. It's perfect, man.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was in high school, man, my first job was I worked construction. It's like installing cabinets and remodeling a church.
Real job.
Yeah, and we'd always like hit the nailing something in, and you just don't know where it went. We called it Cotton Candy Land.
It just disappeared.
It just disappeared. We don't know. Did it? I mean, sometimes you'd lose a nail. You'd look for that thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. Cotton Candy World.
Find it your tire.
One of those things you don't want to think about. That's all I'm saying.
I was talking about cotton candy last night and how that's probably a pretty lucrative business.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bunch of dust. It's kind of like a soft serve.
Uh-huh.
Because this ice cream truck goes by my house every day, and I just think, disgusting. Who's going to drive around in an ice cream truck? And then this guy must just be making a killing. He's not selling ice cream. But if he is, ice cream's expensive. Soft serve, bunch of dust and water.
Dang, man.
Yep. If the music thing doesn't work out, or the corporate monster, I'm going in the soft serve business.
Okay. Yeah.
Vanilla, chocolate, swirl. And if you get strawberry, then it's big timing. You just need three. You just need three flavors.
Yeah, that's it. That's enough.
Well,
so normally I start this thing off. This is welcome to 10-Year Town, by the way.
Cool. That's a good title.
Podcast about trying to make it.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
I always ask people first question. Like how long you been in town?
20 years almost.
Wow.
Probably like 18.
Where'd you come from? How'd it start?
Well,
how'd you get tricked into all this?
It was a dark and stormy night. Yeah. My dad took my mom out, and he said I was one of his better mistakes.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I made this crummy band in college and realized that it was a lot easier than fencing or working construction or whatever. But it's at that point it was fun, Yeah. Just playing music for fun. So.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Leftover Salmon? That's like one of my favorite bands. I saw Leftover Salmon when I was 16 in West Virginia at a festival called the All Good Festival.
Okay.
It was like my first like Bonnaroo-ish hippie festival.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
And I didn't know that stuff existed. Like me and my buddies snuck a 12-pack in. We were going to sneak some beers in, and then people were just coming up like drugs. You know, like,
Yeah.
Holy moly. We go into this place. I think I smoked weed for the first time-ish. And watched this guy, Vince Herman, come out and sing this bluegrass song, Hot Corn, Cold Corn. And the band's singing, it's a traditional song, hot corn, cold corn. And then all he's doing while the band's singing, he's got a 50-pound bag of feed corn, 40-pound bag of feed corn, and he's wearing a big foam cheeseburger on top of his head, and he's just throwing corn at the crowd, and he's just going, corn, corn, and he's just throwing corn at people. And like, I got hit with corn a few times, and I was just like, yeah, I know what I'm going to do for a living. Like, I'm going to wear a cheeseburger on my head and throw corn at people one day in the West Virginia mountains. And I feel like that was when I was like, okay, music, let's do music, because here we got these guys just throwing corn at people, and that's pretty much what the music business is. You just put your cheeseburger head on, go downtown, throw as much corn at people as you can, and hope some of it gets wedged in their ear, you know?
Yeah.
And I went to school in New York, decided I was going to play music, moved to Austin, Texas. I think that's not a great place to start off. I learned that way, you know, because it's just it's like the live music capital of the world.
Yeah.
So everybody there's already kind of made it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's not a whole lot of, it's not really like a songwriter scene as far as I could tell. Like there's people writing songs, but they've been songwriters for a while, and they, you know. So I sat there for a minute, and it was hot. And I worked at a CD warehouse in Round Rock, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And then I worked at the parking lot at the UT bookstore, and I had to find the empty parking spot and point the car in the direction of the empty space. And if they stayed longer than half an hour, I had to charge them $5. And people would stay like 27 minutes, $5. Like, and I worked with all these convicts because it was like a 2-week job. Just that was it. It was for whenever school's starting and everything.
Oh,
so
sure.
we would just charge everybody $5. You stay there 15 minutes, $5. You just stare them in the eye, like $5, you know. And then I got sunburnt, and it was rough. And so went to North Florida, and I just sat under this bridge and fished for catfish for like a year and a half. And I'd take all the catfish up to this seafood store called T&J Seafood, and I'd trade the catfish for blue crabs. And then I'd take the blue crabs to my ex-girlfriend's old man, and we'd just get drunk every night and eat blue crabs. I didn't even like catfish anyway, but I'd trade them for blue crabs. And then one day my ex was like, we got to make some changes. So she filled out an application for me to go to grad school at MTSU.
Yeah. For what?
Recording engineering.
Okay.
And then I got through that, but I really still don't, I couldn't tell you how to turn on a computer, but I got a Master's of Fine Arts from MTSU in recording engineering. But when I graduated, I promised them I would never use the degree. Okay. So I was like, just let me out of here. Yeah, they held me for an extra semester, and then finally I just went in there and was like, look, we all know that I don't understand this stuff. Is this my fault or y'all? So I was like, I paid my bill. Like, I'm already,
just
like, I'm not a moron. Like, yeah, I'm just like, look, I didn't figure it out. Maybe try another way with the next guy. Just give me the paper. I'm out, you know?
Yeah.
So I got the paper. Then I went to town, and I think the best thing I actually got out of that, I met Anderson East at MTSU. And he was just starting to have some action. So that was kind of my ticket to ride.
Sure.
Rode his coattails on in, and that's about it for me.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any big other element.
Did you always
I just had all these lucky things though, like I mean, my whole thing's just been like, what in the hell are you talking about? Like little lucky things like Brent Cobb. I'm getting ready to get on a bus with him for 10 days just to write and hang out. I'm excited. He's playing Red Rocks, and and we were laughing because the reason I know Brent Cobb is I had my 96 Dodge Grand Caravan parked on Music Row, and I was just crashing in it every night and just going to rights and stuff. And Bradley Collins was my guy at BMI at the time, and he was Brent's guy too at the time. I don't think he's there anymore. And Brent was already having like Kenny Chesney cuts, and he was having some luck, and he went to Bradley and he said, hey man, I know this sounds weird, but I'd really like for you to set me up to write with a homeless guy. And Bradley's like, well, you're in luck because there's this dude asleep in his van outside right now. And I was like chilling out on 17th, like just chilling in the van. I had to pop the hood every time and disconnect my battery because I left the battery disconnected. All the lights would stay on and the battery would die. So you always knew if I was in town because the van was sitting there and the hood was popped. And so they set it up, and I'm the homeless guy.
Are you kidding me?
And Brent tells a story like I was homeless by choice because like I had a college degree. I was just riding around like playing music and sleeping in my van.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we wrote this song, If We Never Go, that actually it's been cut a few times. And it's always fun. Like, what's the story on that? Like, man, I don't know. Brent want to ride with a homeless guy. So,
wow.
But little things like that, I got all these little stories where people are like, man, how'd that happen? Like, you're not going to believe this, but we had a car accident, you know? Or
did you always write songs? Was that just something you always did?
Man, it all started, I got one of those Fostech 4-tracks and started multi-tracking fart tapes and taking them to school. And I was just making fart noises and panning them hard right and hard left and making them have conversations and everything, you know, and then just taking them to school and just selling fart tapes and selling a bootleg reggae compilations of songs about weed.
Wow. Incredible.
Every day I'm hustling.
Where'd you grow up?
Danville, Kentucky, half hour south of Lexington.
Okay.
Good place to grow up. I wrote that song.
Yeah.
It was a good place to grow up. It was a good place to leave.
Yeah.
But it was a good place to grow up.
Yeah.
And I if I go there now, I got to get a hotel pretty much.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody's gone or dead or on meth, you know. like, well, if they are there, I probably still would stay at the hotel, you know.
Yeah. Dang. That's crazy.
For the most part.
So, yeah, you caught the bug at some music festival and just kind of traveled around and ended up in Nashville. Yeah,
and then I made all these old friends, like older dudes that were writing with me to start off with, and now all those guys are starting to die. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. One of them the other day was like, man, he's like, whatever you do, you got to be sure you make some young friends so they don't all go dying on your ass when you get. I'm like, so I've been trying to hang out with like 25, you know. That's probably why I hadn't seen you in so long. You're just too old for me. Yeah, you know, I'm afraid I'll get attached and then you'll peel out on me and, you know, it won't work, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's awesome.
I thought that was funny, though. Good advice, though. Make some young friends just so, like, once all your buddies your age start peeling out. You know, not everybody's doing push-ups. I know that.
That's true, man. Yeah, my grandfather's 90, and he tells me that all the time. He's like, man, he's like. Oh,
yeah, so you're definitely going to live for a long time. You're going to outlive a lot of people.
My other grandfather was 88.
Oh, yeah. You got to meet some younger people.
Yeah. I just got to keep.
Just start saying dope a lot. Dope.
Okay. Dope. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just watching.
No, and
TikTok.
you got to say gas. That was another one I just learned. Because it was fire, but I wrote with this kid. He's 16, and he says gas. I said, what's gas? He's like, you know, that's what starts fires.
Hell yeah.
That's fire, man. That's some dope gas.
I love it.
That's fire.
Yeah. That's good.
Hell
shit.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and then, you know, you can just peel out on them, and it won't matter because you're gone.
Yeah, it don't matter. As long as you're the first to leave the party, it's all.
Yeah, I got a
good.
friend. That's why he doesn't recycle because he's like, I'll be dead when all that shit comes back around anyway.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, if you listen to NPR, it's, you know, it's all going to the landfill anyway, apparently.
Yeah, what is it, like 8% is being recycled?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Inspire a lot of confidence.
Did your mom reuse Ziploc bags?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think that's a mom thing, you know, where
we did a lot of
Ziploc
paper bags.
Yeah.
That was a thing. And I listened to that NPR thing, or I read an article about it. It made me feel bad, so I ordered some, like, I used to get the plastic forks.
Yeah.
But now I get the compostable ones.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if it matters. It feels like it doesn't matter. It's like the straws and the turtles. Like, is it really, if the turtle dies, like, is it on me?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a
You're
lot
gonna
of
feel bad
responsibility.
anyway. You can just start taking all your beer cans and put some rice in them and a piece of tape over them and call them shakers and give them out for Christmas presents.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
You got to start somewhere.
How did you kind of, like, get from, I guess at some point you got, like, the publishing deal along the way?
Yeah, well, I was just writing with a bunch of bands that Dave Cobb was working with.
Okay.
And then so he started a JV with Warner Chappell.
Okay.
Joint venture.
Yeah.
And so that's the only, I kind of just got lucky. He made Anderson's record, and I was having a conversation with my buddy, and we were sitting there complaining, having that same old talk we'd had for like 5 years. Like, God, I don't know why I don't have a deal. I've been here, I don't know why I can't, and nothing works. And he looked at me, he goes, well, do you ever ask for one? I was kind of just waiting on someone to call me or something, say, hey, we heard your song or whatever, And
Yeah.
so I just called Dave and was like, hey, man, if you ever make a company, let me know.
Yeah.
And he called me back and was like, okay, man, let's do it.
No way.
And then it took like a year or so for it to all come together,
Yeah.
Which, I don't know who told me this, but they say the deals that take the longest to make last the longest.
I feel that.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That makes sense. Have you enjoyed that? I feel like you've been there the whole lot. Most of the time,
we've been there a while
for sure.
Yeah, and I've gotten some really interesting cuts with him. Like some Oak Ridge Boys stuff and some weird stuff too. Like Airborne. Have you heard of Airborne? Those guys are awesome.
No,
it's like Australian AC/DC.
Okay.
Like we spent a week just writing ripping rock songs.
That's sick.
And it was Shark Week, and they wanted a song about sharks.
Okay.
So we wrote this song, Blood in the Water. Blood in the water. I mean, that kind of stuff. Yeah, where you're like, it's a relief from country.
Yeah, from the stuff we do.
Yeah, party, truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Has anybody written that? I make that joke all the time. I bet somebody has. And I thought the party truck would be one, Hop on a party truck.
That's pretty good. I think there's one that's like beer, truck, something like that.
Truck party.
Yeah, there's party mode. There's a lot of truck songs. Obviously.
Party mode's pretty good.
Yeah.
James McNair just put out a really good party song.
Really?
Did you see that?
No.
Check it out.
Okay.
His partying degree.
Partying degree. That's good.
Yeah, he didn't graduate from college. He just got his partying degree.
That sounds about right.
It's really well written.
Sounds like your MTSU experience, maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, I just didn't. My experience was my fault because I was doing all the writing and I was using up everybody's recording time rather than learning how to record people.
Sure.
And there was a shortage of stuff to record, so I was always like, hell, I got something else. Let's record this. And then when it would be my turn to record people, I would just bring people in to run the session and record my stuff again.
Yeah.
Just trying to use all the time. And then when it was
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, I remember because they said, Mr. Raitiere, describe bandwidth. And I said, when a hummingbird flaps its wings really, really, really fast? And they're like, yeah. I said, that's bandwidth. And I still don't know what bandwidth is, but I don't really care. I think I have a mental wall. I kind of refuse to know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't come at me with your bandwidth.
Nah.
No. Anyway, it was a cool experience. I'm glad school's over, though. I did some school time.
Yeah.
Almost. I thought about going back, though. I put that towel and I was thinking, 3 more years, I'll be a lawyer.
Yeah.
2 more years, I thought about being an ethnomusicologist.
Yeah. Those
guys do well.
Those guys do very well.
Yeah, just trying to rip off Robin Thicke all afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, I had a guy, I was at this thing when I was in college, and he was like the guy. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he came in, and he argued the song one way.
Yeah.
And then he goes, now hold on a second. And he just argued the other side. And I was convinced both ways. Yeah. So I thought I want to hire that guy someday.
Yeah, because he either defends you or defends you. He's like,
that's right.
Yeah. And those guys are not cheap to get the musicologist to come in on the case and all that. I'm sure like the Ed Sheeran case just had a musicologist. And,
man, somebody's making a lot of money off that stuff.
Yeah, more than like going downtown and eating Virginia sandwiches and winging limp noodles at the wall, hoping one's going to stick.
That's right. I mean? But
every now and then, you'd be surprised. The limpest noodles just hangs in there,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of been a part of a bunch of random stuff in your career as a songwriter.
Yeah, one time we took a saucer and we hooked it up to a tractor on the other side of the pond when I was little and hit the gas and just rode the saucer across the pond like it was a surfboard. And I've been a part of a lot of random stuff like that. When I was down in Murfreesboro once, we took a ski rope and tied it to the roof rack of my car and we pulled Anderson behind my car on a skateboard for a pretty long way, just zigzagging behind the thing,
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway, I've been a part of a lot of random things.
Did you
been wanting to get into beekeeping?
Okay.
I-
What is it? What is it about the bees?
It's the honey.
Okay.
I just love that honey. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
Did you? I guess you won a Grammy not too long ago.
Yeah. I mean, my only answer to that is just standing. I mean, I said I've been here for a while. It's like sit in the middle of the road long enough, you will get hit by a car. And I just happened to get hit by a damn bus. Like the thing was just like, it was just like, I mean, I know I work hard and I know I can write a song and I paid my dues or whatever, you know, but some stuff's just luck, you know.
Sure.
And I think for me, most stuff's just luck. Like I might be one of the luckiest people you ever met in your life because I have horrible luck as well. Like the weirdest, terrible things will happen to me, you know, and just the same as like just happened to like, that was the first time I ever went to Los Angeles. I just went there.
Well, how did it, like
Dave was producing a song on the
Okay.
project and they asked him to invite some writers out.
Okay.
And that's it. That's just luck. Anybody could got out there, you know, to write some crap and eat cheeseburgers, you know, but you know,
yeah.
it was totally weird.
And this was for A Star Is Born, right?
Mhm.
The movie.
The coolest part was the Foo Fighters were making a record in the same place, so I was just mesmerized with the Foo Fighters.
Wow. So you were in you were in like a studio, like kind of like Studio A at like
it's called something East. Crap.
but it's some complex in LA. They had obviously more
They
than
have 4 or
one.
5 studios with 4 or 5 producers all working on the same project.
Okay. And so you were y'all were writing for this movie, but also the Foo Fighters were there.
Yeah,
Just-
and working on their record.
Okay.
And then like Josh Homme was wandering around because he was working on, and I mean, there were all these just names of people walking around, and you're like, "Oh my God, was that?" Oh. And then, yeah, and then I mean, at some point, I was just like, "Are all these kombuchas free?" And like, I was just totally like, "The weed's free too." Like, it was all free. They're like, "Whatever you want." Like a movie budget, totally different animal than a record budget. You know, like records are. We'll get lunch. Everybody wants lunch, so order lunch. This is like, what do you need? You need a car? I'm like, I don't know. I was pretty distracted, you know, like a lot of stuff happening at once.
How many songs did you write? Like, I mean, do they leave a lot on the cutting room floor? You know, do you write
we were
100?
like 6 or 7.
And how
they
many
used
made it?
3.
Wow.
But it was 4 years later.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I only remembered writing one of them. Which is a crazy story too, because we wrote the big one, and then everybody left and went back to their hotel, and I just proceeded to hang out and, you know, get into the kombuchas. And
Sure.
I was just wandering around, walking into studios, just, what y'all doing, you know? Well, if y'all need words, I do lyrics, you know? And I'm a lyricist. That's all. I got to make sure everybody knows that this French guy here, you know, I got all full more shit than a Christmas turkey, you know? And I could go. So they needed lyrics on a couple of them, so I went in and wrote them. But when it came back around, they're like, "Hey man, like your name's on these." I was like, "Are you sure?" And then I had to like look back, and like, "I'll be damned. Hey, like we did write that, as a matter of fact, you know." And this, and then they used it, and it was all written. I think the movie was being written around
The songs.
No, but like kind of like it was all just kind of happening at the same time.
Sure.
So we had some songs that would have been perfect for the parts of the movie that got cut out.
Yeah.
Wow. It's cool how that stuff happens. That one was cool though, because we actually went out there and like wrote with her and hung out with like Bradley Cooper and all that. Like, actually met people and did the thing. Like you've had some songs in some movies probably. No,
never have.
Well, usually like you just hear it's like a pitch, and you know if you're lucky you'll get to talk to the producers and see if like they can give you like real
Some
specific
parameters,
and if if the song's about like love, if the movie's called like Red Roses, you don't want to write a song called Red Roses, you know.
Right.
So it's just weird, right? Kind of away from the target kind of thing.
Yeah, like
Natalie Hemby's really good at it.
Wow.
I don't know. I've never with the movie's called Red Roses, she'd probably come up with something about like a burning sun or something.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know, something amazing. Just like there it is.
Well, she's amazing.
Whoa, yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this song the other day. It was for a truck company.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know how to go about this. I was writing with some guy that does this all the time, you know, and he's like, oh, yeah, just can't say anything about trucks, though. Like, what?
Song for truck company, but can't say anything about trucks?
Yeah, it was like, we need to write about summer. And like, you know, it's like you said, it's like away from the target.
Yeah.
It's like to hit it, you gotta walk over
It's like
there.
when commercials started coming out and it'd be like a guy eating a cheeseburger and they'd be like, Geico. You know,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell has that got to do with anything? But you're staring at it, you know?
Yeah.
Because everybody loves cheeseburgers. I'd love a cheeseburger.
Dude, they do.
God, what is it about cheeseburgers? When I was sleeping in the van, I used to just look at everything in terms of cheeseburgers. They'd say, like, it's $200 gig. I'm like, that's 200 cheeseburgers.
That's true.
Because you're living on the value menu.
Yeah,
at
that dollar
point.
menu.
Yeah. Like $200. That's 200. I got to take the gig. I'll take the gig. That's a lot of cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Now you're
Did
like,
you get to go to the Grammys?
mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Oh, God. It was a nightmare because I left my phone in the Uber, and then it got stolen out of the Uber, and I was staying at some French hotel on some street I couldn't remember. I didn't know where anybody was, and like it happened in the afternoon, so we won the award, and I saw like a handful. It was like, oh, and I was like, oh, hell, there they are. You know, I went over there, and then immediately just bummed a ride to an Apple store from a stranger that was 45 minutes outside of town. And I just sat there for like 6 hours in a tux with like my tickets to all the parties and all that stuff. And then like about 10, I finally got a phone because I couldn't remember any of my passwords. And I couldn't remember any phone numbers. And I couldn't remember anything. And I just was like, so then so the cool part is I finally get back to my hotel and I've missed everything related, like won a Grammy, but had like a terrible afternoon. And I missed all the texts too coming through that were like, hey man, I haven't talked to you since high school, but congratulations, you know. So then when I finally get this other phone, the second text start coming through like, well, fine, if you're not going to write me back, then fuck you, you know. And I'm like, what in the hell is happening, you know? And I got back to the hotel, and I had 3 beers with this lady sitting at the bar, and then I said, all right, I'm going to go to bed. This ended. And I went up, and I was kind of like messing with my door, and this guy in the hotel room next to me kind of falls out of the room with this lady, and she's just like, you just want a Grammy, baby. And he's like, oh, my God. And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, hey, I did too. And they're looking at me like, is this guy just fucking with us, you know? And I started talking with this guy, and we talked for like 10 minutes, and it was Danny Carey, the drummer of Tool. And I at that point, like, wasn't really into Tool. But now I listened to 2,200 hours of the same Tool song last year. It was my number one on Spotify because the next week Tool was playing in Nashville, and he's like, man, I'll put you on the list. And so I got home, and my Grammy story is I met Danny Carey from Tool, and then he put us on the list, and I had pretty much a row at the Tool show, and we had all the passes, and the sticky for the show said Jeffrey Epstein Watch Crew, and it had a guy hanging himself over a toilet bowl, and that was the sticky that everybody was wearing around to get backstage. Wow. It was awesome. So, like, I'm like, I think I would have picked the night with Danny Carey at Tool over Grammy party, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. You hit a certain point, you just want to watch a tomato grow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I just kind of hit that point lately. I was like, I don't care if God himself's going to be at the party. I'm not coming. I'm watching my tomato grow. Or herself or whatever it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, God is a woman, so they say.
I saw his T-shirt. It said, be a man, be a woman. I thought that was great. Like, start some internet challenge. Like, just start putting on red lipstick or something like, be a man, be a woman. Like, there's nothing probably harder than being a woman. I'm a mama's boy. Like, my mom works hard. Like, you want to be a man? Be a woman. You know? I love it.
Yeah. Wow.
I talked to this girl the other day. She said she ate an oyster as big as her tongue. I said, you must have a big tongue. And then we got in this whole conversation about tongue shaming. And, man, anything, you can really shame anything unintentionally. I was like, look, I just said it was a huge oyster. Oh, I know. It was a big oyster. And she said that oyster was as big as my tongue. You know? Anyway, all tongues are fine with me. And I don't know any other way to put it, you know? She came at me for tongue shaming, you know?
Yeah. Man, you can't
I
say
mean, I'm a
anything these
40-year-old guy from Kentucky. If you got a weird tongue, that's not my problem, you know?
days. Yeah, that's a good point.
We're lucky to have tongues at all. Them things fall out.
Yeah, I've heard of that happening.
Hell
actually.
yeah, that's so messed up. God bless anybody dealing with that.
Yeah, tongue falling out.
Shit, yeah. You know, somebody right now is like, son of a bitch. Why they gotta go talking about the tongue stuff? It's making it all weird for them, you know, too. You're like, God, it was cool until they went on the tongue thing, and then Jerry's sitting over there with his half falling out tongue.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's tough.
Enough with the tongue shaming. That's disgusting. It's a gross word, too.
Tongue?
Yeah, it makes me think of cows.
Yeah.
My grandma was afraid of cows. She was a Holocaust survivor. It was crazy. And she went towards the end, she called it walking the dog, and she'd say, you know, she's French. She'd say, you walk the dog, you know, and I'd come over and pick her up and put her in my van and drive her down the road about 40 miles an hour. She went, whee, as fast as she'd been in years, you know. And she's afraid of cows. And I don't know why, but I pulled up next to all these cows one day. And they were kind of hanging over the fence out in the country, and rolled the passenger's window down, and she's over there, and she's kind of, and I said, and all these cows are going, and she goes, do not provoke them. I've never seen nothing like it, man. Oh, man, she was afraid of cows. Anyway, back to tongue. There's probably a country named Tongue or something, you know? I don't know if we can just look that up real quick. Is there a country named Tongue?
No. Ben, can we look that up? I doubt it.
You never know.
But probably a city or
An artist.
yeah.
Tongue Highland. It's a coastal village in northwest Highland in Scotland.
There you
Yeah,
go.
man, Scotland's
Tongue.
got all kinds of crazy stuff.
I love that.
Um,
Wow. Learn something every day. I've never been there.
yeah, I never been to Scotland actually.
No.
I need to go.
But I love sandwiches. I don't know what that has to do with anything Scotland. Man, you got any good jokes?
No.
Why the lifeguard had to say the hippie?
Why?
He was too far out, man.
Hey, what's in the notebook? You got you write song ideas in there, or
Yeah, I've been drawing a little bit. It's just like anxiety and secrets,
yeah,
treasure maps.
yeah.
I used to just put.
Do you organize it or just let it all?
No,
ride?
it's a lot of. I have a lot of notebooks, and they're not organized at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about keeping a journal. I figured that was a bad idea because nobody needs to know what I'm up to, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got skeletons like out on the sidewalk right now. They're just waiting on me by my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've been staying out in the woods a bunch. Did I tell you about that? I got that shipping crate out there.
No, I kind of knew. You told me, man. I feel like this is like another lifetime ago. You had that apartment there on Music Row with the nice spot with the pool, on the roof or whatever.
Having me a classic come apart.
Yeah. I think you just moved out of living with some girl and
Yeah, girlfriend of like 5 years.
Wow.
And then just decided, yeah, today. And I walked in that place and I said, they said, when do you need an apartment? I said, yesterday. And the lady shows me this one apartment. I didn't even look at it. I was like, yep, we'll take it. Like, yeah, that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then I lived between there, Red Door, and RCA for months. And I wrote this song too. They're calling me Old Faithful down at Red Door because I showed up at noon, 5, and 1 every day with Jake Mitchell. Throw him under the bus. Me and Jake would go down there, and they were like, "Oh, it's Old Faithful's back."
Oh,
you
man.
know, get
That's
that
so
pizza.
funny. Yep.
And that Coors.
They don't have that pizza anymore.
They don't.
Well, they
I haven't
did
been
for
down there in
while.
a minute because it's just I have flashbacks.
Yeah.
Or I just get into trouble. Like if I go down there, I'm just gonna like probably go home with something, you know.
Yeah. And it's always a risk.
I know.
I went down there like on a Monday night. I was like, oh man, I got a whiskey jam. Because man, I remember when I was going down there all the time, I'd always look around and I go, how come none of the guys like older than me are still out here every day like I am? Like what happens?
Yeah,
you know?
they either die or they have success.
Yeah, or they just get like, it was like I woke up one day and I was like, well, I don't really want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And now I just sit in my house and write songs. And,
You hit a point, you get tired of peeing out your butt. It's so relatable. You're like, you want to put it one way,
yeah,
I'm just trying to hold it all together.
yeah, that's
You
true.
know? Anyway. It's just a part of growing up, You're
Yeah.
like, man. Then now like sober's the new drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty wild.
A lot
I
of
got a
young
buddy. He'll
people are
get
just sober now.
sober till 3 a.m. This guy gets so sober. I never seen anything like it. I mean, he parties harder than all the partying people. They'll be hammering. He's like, "We're going to Waffle House or what?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "This guy is sober as hell. Like, hydrated too,
Yeah.
peeing all night.
He's gonna
Just
live forever.
Oh, probably. Well, I don't know. He's stressed. I think I got a buddy too that smokes 2 packs a day, and I bet he's gonna outlive everybody because he just doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
like, you want to make this better? And he's like, no, it's fine how it is. About everything. How about your life? You want to improve it? Why would we do that? I mean, I still got 4 cigarettes left and the sun ain't set.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. If it's not
He's
broken,
going to live forever if you don't give a shit about, if you worry about having a heart attack, you're probably going to have one. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, am I having a heart attack? I was like, fuck, I'm going to talk myself into having one if I'm not already having one.
Yeah,
And I was like, no, it's just palpitations. It's just palpitations. What's this? What a
yeah,
word, too.
It's no problem.
Yeah, no
It's no
problem at
problem.
all. Or when you're laying on your pillow and you can hear your heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Like,
yeah.
am I dying? You're like, yeah, every day, man. Second by second, slowly.
Yeah. Do you? Are you?
That's why I'm trying to be a corporate monster so I can be focused a little bit. Songwriting, you just got to chase that fucking insanity all afternoon.
You
Like,
do, and it lends
Sometimes I just
itself
want
to
to
a
clock in.
lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I was gonna work at Trader Joe's, but I couldn't stand the bells. It's like ding, 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 ding. But I thought that's far out. Everybody there's just a little baked and eating organic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah. Get some frozen pizzas.
Thought about Kroger too, but bloop, bloop, like it's the ears. Your ears are trained, so I guarantee you don't really hear that. Like my mom doesn't hear. Bloop, 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 bloop,
Yeah.
bloop, bloop.
That's all
That's
you
all
hear.
I hear, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be bagging.
Yeah.
Bagging them groceries.
Yeah. I wonder. Like we got a new roof recently, the house. and-
Yeah, that's another reason I write songs because I see those guys out there in 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
And I'm like, potato, tomato, tornado, potato, tomato, tornado, potato, tomato, tornado.
I wonder sometimes what it would be like to just like have a job where like the day's over and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I did today. It's songwriting, man.
Mowing's good.
Yeah,
for that.
mowing's good for that. Songwriting's tough, man. It's a lot of delayed gratification, a lot of
Non-gratification, a lot of wasted hours, a lot of garbage, a lot of hanging out with people you'll never see again that don't care about you.
Yeah.
A lot of dropping other people's names that are never going to ever say your name.
Yeah.
Like, Lady Gaga is not out there being like, well, there's this one turd that came floating through last year, and like he wrote that one song that went with that one trophy out of all these other hundreds of other ones that were written with all those other people, like whatever, like.
Yeah.
But then I'm like cursed, like if you like, got a whiff of Kurt Cobain, you're gonna have to talk about him the rest of your life, whether you want to or not. So what was it like getting a whiff of Kurt Cobain? But nobody ever asked Kurt Cobain like, what was it like sitting next to Bill, the guy downstairs?
Mm-hmm. That's a great
Hi, I'm Bill,
point.
the guy downstairs, and I got a whiff of Kurt Cobain. By the way, I did touch the Emancipation Proclamation. I'm gonna put that out there,
All right.
just because like I don't think I can get in trouble for it anymore.
Uh-huh.
But
Is there a statute of limitations on touching the Emancipation Proclamation?
I don't know. But if you really throw a black light on the one that's up in Ithaca, New York, it's got a print. It's got this print on it right there because I went pow on that Emancipation Proclamation. There's 2 copies of it.
And you've
It's a
touched
pretty
one.
important piece of paper.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yep.
What?
Proud of that.
Yeah, that's. I don't even know.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say, but that's incredible.
I also
What-
had a state record. You want just me to talk about myself for a while?
I was gonna ask you, like why? What is it about writing songs that you like?
Man,
Just
I
curious.
that's been killing me lately. I've been really trying to find it.
What do you mean?
It feels a lot like work. I like magic, and I like random magic, and I like, but it's really hard to pretend like, I sometimes try to pretend like I'm like in my mom's basement and we're just making fart tapes for everybody at school and we just want something that everybody's going to enjoy. Yeah. And like, it's not a big deal. And then, people are like, who's going to cut this? I don't know who's going to cut this. And immediately I'm just like, nobody's going to cut this. It's terrible, I even turned some songs in recently and they wrote back and said, there's not even a pitch here. We can't pitch this to anybody. Nobody. Like, it's that bad. And you're just like, well, that was one more Wednesday I could have been fishing, Yeah. Yeah. So what I love about songwriting? I just love not painting fences. That's the only thing I've like come to it. Like, I love not having to be on a clock. I love the aspect of the job. I love being around creative people.
Yeah.
I love dressing like a ding-a-ling and going into work. I'm like, I got in this fight with 3X's back girlfriend and my XXX girlfriend. And she was so sweet. And the meanest thing she ever said to me, it still sticks with me. It pissed me off so much. She said, "Oh yeah? Well, you dress like an 8th grader." And I'm like, yeah, I do. Cause like 8th grade was awesome. And despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage,
Yeah.
I am a smashing pumpkin in my heart, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Well, you're just chasing that thing.
Yeah, I want to write grunge rock songs all afternoon, and that's not what we're here to do. Party truck party, and every now and then it'll work.
Yeah.
Every now and then it won't. I don't know. What do you love about writing songs? You're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm doing a podcast. I'm going into turning into a corporate monster. I'm going in the cotton candy business. I'm going in the soft serve business. And
you've got it all planned out.
Yeah, I got a little booking agency.
Okay.
I've been doing a little bit of I was like, look, it's a long drive to Brentwood. And so I'm thinking, why not just really do it? Like songwriting, art, it's pretty much just to the soul. Why not just while you're at it, And I mean, like I learned on Jerry when I was in 4th grade watching Jerry Springer before my mom got home. I'd have that shit on being like, if you got it, flaunt it, If you got it, flaunt it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like a dad bod. Dad bod's the new 6-pack, like sober's the new drunk.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm in it for the for not working and for the ladies and
you like
the free sandwiches.
You like the
I
lifestyle.
just love a good sandwich, and there's a lot of sandwiches. Songwriting, like
there are.
Yeah,
a lot of like you go to Smack. There's
do
just
they have
a lot.
sandwiches?
Oh, they got a lot of snacks.
Oh, wow.
Top tier snacks.
I know Creative Nation will order you lunch sometimes.
Really? What would you rank the publishing houses in terms of their how good their snacks are?
Warner's been pretty good lately. Warner Chappell's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they got a whole nother closet. If you don't know about it, I'll tell you where it is next time over there. But
okay.
Man, I think you can get in there with a bobby pin. Yeah.
They got a secret snack closet.
Universal used to be the place. I haven't been over there in a minute, but they had a great loaded up snack kitchen.
They got
I mean, it's kind of the trick. Like
Sony's got that.
Combustion has pretty good snacks.
Yeah, they got those zebra cakes.
Seagale has pretty standard snacks. Not nothing to rave about, but they're there. Like you can have a good goldfish breakfast, and I've had a lot of snack breakfast.
Sony's
lunch.
got that those little beef jerkies now.
Yeah, there's I think they're selling those. Everybody's getting their snacks at Costco for sure because you got to get it bulk or Sam's.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go crazy on the beef jerky, I just get the heartburn.
Yeah. You got to watch out.
Yeah,
you got to watch.
And you can't take too much Prilosec, or you'll get immune to that stuff too.
Yeah.
I used to watch my high school sweetheart's old man lay in the driveway and just scream in pain from like natural light heartburn.
Natural light heartburn?
Natty Light. That thing will just eat a hole in your esophagus if
Dang.
You just chug Natty Lights. I love Natural Light though. That was my favorite beer ever. Those are the beers I'd steal. Like, it's like drinking water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a light beer guy. I just love Coors Light.
I've been just trying to just not drink lately because I just, tended to get drunk.
Yeah. But you have a storage container, you were saying?
Oh yeah, I put a bunk bed in a desk, and it's got like fake hardwood floor, drywall. It's 20 by 8 foot shipping crate.
Yeah.
But you open the metal doors, and then there's like actual doors. Like
you got like AC or?
Well, working on it. I got a generator and I got the heat set up, but I hadn't really got it set for summer. But it's gonna be easy. There's 2 windows, and there's room for a window unit. But
okay.
I think it's getting ready to be like Armageddon hot this summer, though, and
it's not. No.
You wouldn't believe it, but there's this thing called global warming. They've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah,
I'm beginning to think they're right. Can you imagine that? Holy moly! But I don't know. Have you ever seen a glacier?
Never have.
That's because they're gone, because they melted. 'Cause I went to Alaska. I got a woof of a glacier. We flew over it, and, it's like, ooh, wow, you can see where the glacier used to be, but like soon,
It's all gone.
Yeah, New York's going to be underwater and all the rest of it.
Do you,
I think that we need a train in Nashville. I was thinking about this. I figured it out. Like in Chicago, the train system needs to go directly over the streets because they don't need to dig under and there's no room for rounds. So we need to have like a train, like a tram that goes right down Broadway through to Montgomery and like a bunch of T's where you can hop on and hop off and just walk to different places.
Yeah, that's
glad you asked. Mass transportation is a real issue here in Nashville these days.
It is. The only solution for traffic is actually segregated rail, which is what you're talking about.
And apparently people just shoot each other too, because that happens like every other day.
Yeah,
road rage is out of control.
What advice would you give to somebody that wanted to start writing songs, to make a career?
Don't do it. I really don't think I would, man. I don't know. I just wouldn't. Okay, here's where it is. This is new advice too, because AI is coming. So if you're in the sync world, which you pay bills like getting songs in movies and songs in like toothpaste commercials and songs in the beef jerky commercials, music for that. But now like there's no human element in that really anyway. They just kind of need the hook and the noise. Yeah. So that can totally be generated by AI. So I think you'd have to think from a new perspective about, like, you have to come at it like, all right, the computer can do that now. So like, how can we use that? Because I was in this write with a bunch of writers the other day and threw out an idea and they threw it in Chat GPT and it came up and it was like exactly how I would have written it. And it was like really good. And I was like, well, here it is, here's the end of the songwriter. So back to like bringing back feedback and like flat notes and the human element. Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of room for that. But the songwriter of the future, I don't know what advice to give them because I think you're up against a new animal. Like the songs are going to be shorter. Your attention span's gone. A long time ago, I made this record called Smidgets, Boogers, and Half Songs, and it's like 29 tracks, and it's 25 minutes long, the whole record. So by the time it gets 40 minutes into this track of harmonized nonsense, and you're getting ready to skip it, the damn thing just skips itself and goes on to another track of harmonized nonsense. And someone was telling me that there's a TikTok channel on Sirius XM now. Yeah. So you can listen to 30-second songs. Wow. So and people watch music. People don't listen to music. Nobody sits around and like puts on vinyl. I mean, maybe like a couple kids whose parents listen to NPR and they've got a little bit of like, they read books when they were growing up, but nobody does that anymore, Yeah. Books, what are those kind of thing, Sure. So I think like songwriter of the future, it's going to be a jingle world. It's going to be quick. It's going to be, I don't know, man. I mean, there's country songwriters coming back, right? There's country singers coming back, but I think it's on the edge.
Well, what are you gonna do next?
And plus, you're either gonna eat. Plus, you either got it or you don't. Like in Nashville, they always say how many songwriters are in Nashville. It's like 200 or something that are actually getting paid to write songs, and then there's easily like 50,000 people walking around saying they're on tour. I'm on tour. Where you sleep? I'm on tour. I sleep in my van. That's what I used to say when I slept in the van. What are you doing? I'm on tour, bro. I retired. I'm retired and I'm on tour. Yeah. I was 20. Yeah. Retired and on tour.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, if it all goes away, what are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll just sit out in that shipping crate.
You ready?
Burn stuff. Yeah. Shoot stuff. Walk around in my tidy whities and microdose.
All right. Well, Aaron Raitiere, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
That's it. That's the pod. See you later.
That was entertaining.
That was the best episode ever. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Keep rating, keep reviewing, keep subscribing. We love you. Talk to you soon.